Imagine a place where turning 100 isn't rare. It's almost expected. Where great-grandmothers still tend their gardens with nimble hands, and centenarians wake up each morning with a clear sense of purpose. This isn't fantasy. This is Japan, home to the longest living people on Earth. The numbers are staggering. Japanese women live an average of 87.13 years, and men 81.09 years, the highest in the world. Japan now has over 95,000 centenarians, with one person in every 1,300 living past 100. But here's what's truly remarkable. These aren't just years of survival. These are years of vitality, purpose, and joy. I'm Josh, and on Shizen Style, we explore how Japanese aesthetics and ancient wisdom can transform our modern lives. Today we're diving deep into Japan's longevity secrets, and I'm going to bust some major myths along the way. As I was researching this, here's something that surprised me. As recently as the 1960s, Japan had the shortest life expectancy among G7 countries. They were dying young from stroke and stomach cancer. But something extraordinary happened. In just 2 decades, Japan went from last place to first. Japanese women have held the world longevity record since the 1980s. This wasn't genetics. This wasn't luck. This wasn't some deep-rooted cultural phenomenon. This was a complete transformation driven by strong government-led initiatives, low-cost health insurance, widely distributed health screenings, and laws to prevent non-communicable diseases. Now, let's talk about the first major myth that needs busting. You've probably heard about Okinawa being Japan's longevity paradise, but those stories are using outdated information. Yes, it's a blue zone, but there's more to the story. Here's what the current data actually shows. In 2024, Shimane Prefecture has the highest ratio of centenarians at 159.5 per 100,000 people, followed by Kochi at 154.2, and Kagoshima at 130.7. Okinawa now ranks just 28th in centenarian density. And get this, Nagano Prefecture, which is completely landlocked, has had the highest life expectancy for men since 1990. Their women took the top spot in 2013, pushing Okinawan women down to 3rd place. Okinawan men, they've dropped all the way down to 30th place due to increases in obesity and heart disease. This tells us something crucial. Japanese longevity isn't about one unique island culture. It's about nationwide changes that transformed an entire country. Let's tackle another myth, that it's all about some ancient traditional Japanese diet. Scientists have discovered something interesting. The healthiest Japanese diet was actually from 1975, not some 1,000-year-old traditional eating pattern. This was when Japan had successfully integrated some Western elements like meat and dairy, while keeping their plant-heavy foundation. The 1975 diet was characterized by a balance of traditional Japanese foods with moderate amounts of meat, milk, and dairy products that helped reduce stroke mortality, which had been Japan's biggest killer. But here's the key. It's not just what they eat, it's how they eat. Hara Hachibu advises eating only until you're 80% full. Research shows it takes 15 to 20 minutes for your brain to register stomach capacity, so stopping at 80% means you're likely actually perfectly satisfied. There's a significant calorie gap between when an American says, "I'm full," and when a Japanese person says, "I'm no longer hungry." Americans unfortunately tend to stuff themselves. Japanese people stop when they're no longer hungry. That difference might seem small, but it's huge over a lifetime. This comes from an intentional awareness of our body. Here's something most people miss about Japan's longevity miracle. It's not just about individual lifestyle choices. It's about the systems they built. Since 1956, Japan has had mandatory, low-cost health insurance with widely distributed health screenings. They launched a national Smart Life project, promoting 4 key areas: exercise, balanced diet, tobacco cessation, and regular checkups. They even introduced stress measuring systems in workplaces and committees to prevent karoshi, death by overwork. Now, it's not 100% effective, and Japan does have a high suicide rate. But again, no system is perfect. But there's also a cultural element we can learn from. In 2000, Japan implemented a long-term care insurance program with paid daycare for adults. Social contact made people happier and healthier, driving down healthcare costs. This combination of individual responsibility and systemic support created something unprecedented. And now for the biggest mythbuster of all. You know those blue zones everyone's obsessed with? Recent research is seriously challenging whether they're even real. Saul Justin Newman, a researcher at University College London, actually won an IG Nobel Prize for showing that many supposed centenarians worldwide aren't as old as records suggest. The problem? Poor record keeping, not exceptional longevity. Newman found something telling. There's a correlation between longevity claims and low wages in multiple Japanese prefectures. The areas with the most centenarians, like Shimane, Kochi, and Kagoshima, happen to rank among Japan's lowest in income. In Japan, a 2010 investigation revealed that more than 230,000 individuals registered as over 100 years old had actually died years earlier. This doesn't mean Japanese longevity is fake. Their national statistics are still the highest verified in the world. But it means we should be skeptical of extreme claims and focus on proven systemic approaches. So what are Japan's real longevity secrets? It's less mystical and more systemic than most people think. First, economic prosperity combined with universal healthcare and preventative medicine. Second, a diet that evolved thoughtfully. Studies show adherence to Japanese dietary patterns: rice, miso soup, seaweeds, pickles, vegetables, fish, and green tea is associated with longer survival time. Third, cultural practices around moderation and mindfulness, not just in special places, but embedded in everyday life across the country. Fourth, strong family and community networks where aging is respected and elders remain active and socially engaged. And finally, systematic stress reduction and workplace wellness initiatives that most countries haven't implemented. And as a bonus, I would also add in walking. The average amount of walking that Japanese people do on a regular basis far outnumbers those of Americans. Here's the concerning part. The people pushing Japan's average lifespan to record levels are the 60 and up age group, the ones who still followed healthier eating habits in middle age. Younger generations have adopted more westernized diets, and we're already seeing the consequences. The incidence of diabetes and other lifestyle diseases among Japanese has been rising year by year, raising concerns that life expectancy in Japan may be approaching its peak. In Okinawa specifically, men's life expectancy is now no higher than the national average, with increases in obesity and heart disease linked to dietary westernization. But here's the opportunity. These principles are proven and transferable. We can learn from Japan's systematic approach. So how do we bring Japan's real longevity secrets into our lives? Focus on systems, not just individual habits. Adopt thoughtful eating. Practice hara hachibu. Stop at 80% full. Choose variety and balance over restriction. Prioritize preventative health care. Regular checkups aren't luxury, they're longevity strategy. Build lasting social networks. Invest in relationships that will support you for decades, not just years. Advocate for systemic change. Support workplace wellness, stress reduction policies, and community health initiatives. Embrace moderation as philosophy, not just in eating, but in work stress, consumption, and life pace. and walk as much as you possibly can. Japan's story shows us that exceptional longevity isn't about finding some mythical blue zone or perfect superfood. It's about building systems, both personal and societal, that support health across entire lifetimes. At 87.13 years for women and 81.09 for men, Japan shows us what's possible when individual wisdom meets systemic support. The secret isn't moving to Okinawa or eating only sweet potatoes. The secret is creating a life where healthy choices are supported, stress is managed systematically, and aging is viewed not as a decline but as continued contribution. That's the power of Shizen, learning from nature and culture to create sustainable, systematic approaches to well-being. If this evidence-based approach to longevity resonates with you, subscribe to Shizen Style. We're committed to separating fact from fiction in wellness wisdom. But for now, I challenge you. Pick one systematic change today. Schedule that health screening. Practice stopping at 80% full. Call someone you haven't spoken to in months. Because longevity isn't about secrets, it's about systems.